Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is day 123 of the national emergency. It's the 51st day of our country's collective expression of civil unrest, and it's the 8th day of New York City's going phase 3. Welcome. You've certainly come to the right place. Another interesting number is there are, count them, 22 states. On the New York State Travel Advisory List. That's a lot. Take a look. Everybody knows someone from those places. Everyone probably has it in their mind that they were going to go to or from some of those places, many of those places, when we all started traveling again. Very interesting times. Okay, but we're phase 3 now. Can you feel it? Things are starting to bubble. Definitely emails, texts, phone calls. Everything is starting to happen in the producer world. And speaking about things that are happening, let's pull up, let's see here. You remember when Jamie Lomax and Amanda Sullivan came on the show, and we were talking about the 1921 Tulsa race massacre. Well, the Washington Post has a series of articles in Tulsa right now. They are starting to dig up what is potentially, they're investigating and digging up what is potentially a mass grave from that race massacre. Very interesting story, very interesting follow-up, and we'll have more on that as things develop. That's one of those images. This whole situation that happened is one of those things. When you think about America, you think certain things can't happen here. But when we dig deeper into our past, sometimes we find that a lot of things we think might not be able to happen here actually have happened in this country. Very, very interesting. We are also the governor, as we mentioned before, has increased the number of states to 22. We saw that, and now we're in phase 3, and things are tough. We had Tom LaFlesh on a couple of weeks ago, and you may know him as Hank Thomas, and he's got his new song, America 2020. So let's roll that. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking to 3 fantastic producers. And I know not everyone knows what a producer actually does. Here's a meme about producers. Producers, this is what my friends think I do. They think it's all a lot of magic when you tell them, your friends, that you're a producer. This is basically what society thinks producers are up to. This is what my mom thinks I do. Now, this is what directors think producers do. Now, myself and all other producers, this is how we see ourselves every day. When a producer gets dressed to go to work, this is what they are thinking. And then, of course, here's the actual thing. Any producer will tell you the job is like herding cats. All right, let's hear from Tom LaFlesh, America 2020. And when we come back, we're going to have 3 amazing producers, and we're going to talk about production is back, sort of.
Dear Mr. President, could you please drop another check in the mail to me? We're running low on groceries and the landlord wants the rent. We do everything our governor asks while you run around without a mask. Got a notice yesterday they're turning off the lights. Enough's enough. There's hard towns in America. Enough's enough. Hard towns in America. There's hard towns in America these days. Enough's enough. Corporate greed is out of hand. Ain't nothing left for small businessman. There's hard towns in America these days. Unemployment line is over here. CEO bonus over there. I just wanna keep what took me half a lifetime to achieve. Enough's enough. There's hard towns in America. Enough's enough. Hard towns in America. Towns in America these days. You got people living week to week, trying to find a way to make ends meet. There's hard times in America these days. These days. These days. Enough's enough. There's a haze that runs across this land. It's the burden of the working man. Your shameless lies go on and on while his mother's dying all alone. Can't go to church in his own town while you go play another round. The unseen hand who guides the song says, love thy neighbor as thyself. And that's why I'm begging you, please. Well, Mr. President, could you tell my ma when my daddy's gonna be coming home? He walks a beat long, 12-hour days. He does his part to keep us safe. It sure don't feel like the promised land, like you were dodging Vietnam. We got a never-ending funeral train in the name of liberty. Oh, there's hard times in America. Hard times in America. There's hard times in America these days. While people die out in the street, you sit on a golden throne and tweet. There's hard times in America these days. There's hard times in America. Hard times in America. There's hard times in America these days. These days. These days. Enough's enough.
That's what I'm saying. Enough is enough. I think that's what we're all saying. Things have just gotten crazier and crazier politically. And it's weird. As things get crazier politically, we just keep paying more and more attention to the politics. Like, you remember when you used to get the newspaper and you used to read the art section? But now it comes into your email box and you're just inundated with politics, politics, politics. Like, I think we need to take a breath. Now, talking about taking a breath and thinking about something else. This is kind of a little conversation about how your sausage is made. All your media, your television shows, your movies, your commercials, gotta have commercials, your interstitials, your promos, your interviews. I'm going to bring on three amazing producers right now. We're going to kind of have a round robin because, ladies and gentlemen, at Phase 3 in New York City, production is back, kind of. So these three producers are involved in reality television, commercials, documentaries, features, you name it. And here we have, there we are. Oh, there's Kirsten Norr. And let's see. Oh, we've got one more Skype trying to come on. Let's see. All right, let me pull that out. Kirsten Norr, how are you?
I'm lovely.
Now, you're just north of us here, north of the city, right?
Yes, in the lower Hudson Valley.
Oh, lovely. And how is the weather there? Is it hot, hot, hot like here in the city? I'm schwitzing here in the studio.
It's very hot, but we're in Phase 4, so we can go to restaurants and sit in air conditioning.
Oh, lovely. Now, have you done that? Have you gone into a restaurant?
I did it. Yeah.
Were people wearing masks? Is it weird? What's going on?
Everybody wears a mask, not when you're at your table, but it's definitely an experience at a nice restaurant having someone serve you food with a hospital mask on. So, but listen, it felt sort of normal, but a little weird.
Right. And so, in terms of production, like, where were you, what was going on when the pandemic hit? We'll take, it's March. It's only been a few months. What were you lining up to do?
I was booked on a job, docuseries, and I was scheduled to leave the Sunday before the quarantine officially began for several weeks. I was supposed to finish this job in August. So the Friday before, they finally canceled, or they pushed us for 2 weeks and kept checking in with us. 2 weeks later, they pushed it again a couple more weeks, checked in with us again, and then they finally got rid of the shoot, understandably. So I was able to do some consulting work with a documentary company, and I've helped them research COVID guidelines because they were hoping to do some filming in California, which I believe is on hold again now.
Yeah, so do you know a little bit of what happened in California? They did start into a forward motion, right? But then had to pull back. Is that the case?
It looks like the government pulled back, but I don't know if the filming industry is getting too affected yet. It seems like they're still trying to, I hear of projects starting to happen, but it seems right now we're at a day-to-day update because it seems like California is in really bad shape. I heard the public schools are closed.
Right.
Is that me?
No, that is Skype messaging happening. There's all kinds of, there, as well as anyone, behind the scenes, there's a lot going on, right?
Yes.
The audience numbers are climbing right now. There's a lot of thumbs up going on. There's a lot of hearts. People are glad to see you again. A lot of our audience is familiar with you and your ability to order a salmon dinner just anywhere in the country. Salmon chuchi.
If the director wants a salmon, you make it happen. It doesn't matter what restaurant it came from.
It doesn't.
PA 101. There you go.
There you go. When you get into any new town, figure out where the Thai restaurants are so you know where you can get a great salmon dish.
Put them on speed dial.
Put them on speed dial. Yeah, so California has flip-flopped back and forth, and that is a little disconcerting.
Yes. The project I was helping with for research was a documentary. So they're obviously taking more of an ethical, moral debate within themselves before they move forward. And I think some of the things that are still going to move forward are the bigger budget union jobs. But I think, but I think things are going to change in the next week or two.
Right. And then talking about just the concept of change, kind of the work as we know it has some fundamental changes incorporated in right now.
Yes.
New positions. I mean, definitely, when we would do something challenging on set, we would have a medic, but now it sounds like, we're going to have a medic almost, all the time, but we're also going to have this new COVID person.
Yeah. On most projects, hopefully they will. It's going to be complicated. And I know somebody shooting on something now, and it's very tiny, but they were saying after the first day already, people were getting lazy about masks. And I think that happens if anyone's had a social distance barbecue or anything like that. When you first show up, you are on the opposite ends, and then you're like passing drinks to each other. So
right.
It's not.
Right. And for us, I think we realize that moment in production is a very social time for us. Many people who work in offices and things work with a team, day in and day out. But for us, there are sometimes significant amounts of time that goes by where we're in the office, we're prepping a thing. And then the days that we show up on set, there's 25, 35 of our friends, of our peers.
Yeah. Well, you cannot hug to say hello.
Yeah. Right.
But you maybe shouldn't have done that anyway before COVID, but.
Right. Well, that's what we're finding out now.
Yeah.
All right, let's take just one little moment and let me see if we can get Sean Wen. Are you there, sir? It seems like
I'm right here. Would you guys hear me?
I can barely hear you. Can you see him?
Hi.
Oh my gosh. All right, Sean Wen and Sylvetta, I am having a hard time getting. I can see that you're on. Let me just keep clicking some buttons here. I can see that Sean Wen is sending hearts and yeah, I don't understand why it's not going through. All right. Sylvetta and Sean Wen.
See everybody.
You can push share your screen and see what happens. Can you share your screen down on the bottom there?
Me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Down on the bottom next to the chat button.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Oh. This is production's finest moment, guys.
I can't do this. How am I going to keep people alive?
Oh,
I don't know what
good. You just took a snapshot. There you go. Well, there you are.
That's perfect.
That's wonderful.
I don't know how to do it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. This will be the most documented show that we've ever had. Now, just so you know, and I can figure this out, but we have some folks from the Canadian production field and someone I think from LA slated for next week. But maybe what I'll do is try to figure out what's going wrong here, and then we'll bump them. Or we'll incorporate. I'll just double down and we'll have 8 people on the show next week and see if we can't make that happen. All right. I am going to roll this little comedy sketch that we made not too long ago. But it was back when we were in phase 1 and things were a lot different. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you already seen this. I give you the love bugs.
I miss you so much, Willy Dilly.
I miss you too, Beth.
Oh my god, you guys are so mushy. You know you can do this in a private chat, right?
No, I miss you too, Liv. I'm so excited that my best friend and my boyfriend are in the same place. Kind of.
And me.
Oh yeah, hi Lucas.
I'm just saying you don't see me and Lucas all over each other.
Yeah, right, because even when we're in the same room, we don't do that.
So, what's new with everyone?
Absolutely nothing.
Well, I saw 4 squirrels in the yard today, and one of them...
Stop. I can't do this anymore.
What's wrong?
This?
Cabin fever?
No. Beth, I love you, and I know you love me.
Lucas, not now.
What?
Beth?
We've been Netflix partying behind your backs.
Shut up, Lucas.
Wait.
Seriously, Beth?
No.
What show?
It's not what you think. It was just...
What show?
Outlander.
Ugh.
We were supposed to start that together.
I couldn't wait for you, Will.
I can't believe this.
You said we would binge watch together?
Well, I'm going to binge with someone else from now on.
Don't be so upset, Will. It's not like we're not doing the exact same thing.
What?
Will.
That's right.
It was just one meetup in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I just wanted to sell my turnips. Maybe pick some fruit from her trees.
Oh, he picked some fruit, all right.
Ew.
Oh, that's just disgusting.
I'm serious. That's all it was. At first. But then the Nook phone chats got a little hot and heavy.
We snuck away for a little getaway on my private island.
And now we're building a second home in Minecraft.
How could you?
Olivia, you don't even like video games.
It turns out they're a lot more fun with the right person.
That's it. I'm out.
Will, I can't even look at you.
Well, that went great.
Yeah. Hey, Liv. You think when this is all over, we could maybe go on a real dates? Like, in person? Liv? Hello? She'll call back.
Oh, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Sean Wen. And now we're bringing in, there's Kirsten, and there is Sylvetta Christmas. Wonderful, boom. Great to have everybody here. While I click through. Now, Kirsten and I were just talking about where we all were when this thing hit. So, Sylvetta, my understanding is you're originally from Chicago, but you got stuck in Atlanta.
I did. I do. I live in Chicago and I live in Atlanta, so I'm lucky enough to work as a local in both cities. So I did start a job in January on docuseries reality show. And we, of course, got word that we'd be shut down. We initially thought it would maybe be 2 weeks. I kind of told the crew, my personal thoughts it would be longer, and here we are. However, just today, I did get a call asking to go on a scout for a new location because our previous location we had to leave. It was owned by a landlord and he rented our space. So then we had to go back in June, move everything out while social distancing. So we have 3 large storages full of stuff, and we'll have to start all over again.
Oh, storage. Oh, I hate to hear it. Sean Wen, you and I both know a lot about storage. What were you doing when this thing hit?
I was traveling around a little bit. I got a gig. It was a multi-city shoot. Very exciting. Big stuff, you guys. It was big. It's a big corporate video. So I was in Michigan, first week of March, and we were supposed to go to Luxembourg, our second location, mid-March. But as we all know, pandemic, officially hit us right in the middle of March, and everything got shut down. So yeah, we canceled the second portion of the shoot, but we were very lucky and very grateful that we was able to finish all the content that we needed for the first part of the leg. Yeah, so just traveling around the world, and now we are all stuck at home.
Yeah, exactly. Which can be fun at times. But so now that things are trying to come back, I think we all feel a little trepidation. It's exciting that things are coming back, but it's also a little bit nervous making. What are some of the concerns? What are some of the very first forefront concerns that are on your mind right now, Sean? Like, if you think about going back to set, what are you worried about right off the bat?
I think right off the bat, I think about everyone's safety. I think that's our responsibility to make sure we're in a safe environment. And as we all know, like many production companies, everybody kind of have their own guidelines. I think safety, really. Safety, it's making sure people feel safe, making sure people feel comfortable, and also need to just be understanding when, people are booked on a job, and you might get a phone call at midnight, just be like, hey man, sorry, I think I'm feeling a little hot. I don't think I should be coming in tomorrow. You know what? The show must go on.
Yeah, absolutely. These sometimes are razor thin. We have just enough people, we have just enough time and just enough budget to pull this off. But now we're dealing with bigger variables. Sylvetta, Sean was saying just safety, but when you think about the actual space that we occupy, what are some of the thoughts that you have about that?
Regarding social distancing, my initial concerns are setting up. So once we bring everything back, production is definitely a team effort, and we work in tandem. So as we're setting up, we do need our lighting crew, our camera crew, and the art department working together in the same space. And I wonder, how does that work? Who goes in first? Or would it just be staggered? Will everyone have 30-minute increments, or, share the time? And my other concern, with that, would be we would obviously need more time to complete the setups with lighting and so forth, and, spaces where people will need to be. So does that mean we have less filming time?
Right. Right now, I think we would all agree that from what we know about budgets and schedules and resources on these projects, there doesn't seem to be the kind of flexibility that we might need, especially here in the beginning, to deal with these new concerns. So Kirsten, you've worked on reality before. Reality seems like it has almost a revolving door of people. Like that's one of its main things, is to show lots of people and sometimes whittle it down to one or two. What do you think? Can you imagine handling that?
Well, I'm hearing about a few things happening. I think shows that had started before this that needed to finish are doing it just very small crew. Everyone gets tested right before, and then just strict distancing while you're on the shoot. But I have been hearing of shows that are pretty popular and need to just keep going, or they think they need to keep going, trying to get people to commit for like 14 weeks. So it'll be, you're in a pod, you can't go home for the weekend, like everybody has to stay the whole time. I think that that's probably a good plan, but I mean, you can't control what your crew's doing on their day off. And
I mean, we know we can't control what our crew is doing on the days that they come into work.
I'm a little concerned. Obviously safety is the biggest concern, and I'm nervous with, especially reality production companies are never generous about money. And it seems like you're going to have to really spend money to keep people very safe. I'm also concerned with people having been out of work so long, just wanting to work and not really thinking through all the extra steps that they're going to have to take. I mean, crews should, in reality, there's no union really, typically. If you're on a non-union, the 8 people are touching gear. That doesn't, you shouldn't be touching each other's gear. So I don't know. I think it's got to be very small, and I think having the same people locked in for a whole, stretch is probably a good idea.
Yeah. Hey, 14 weeks in a place with AC and cable, that's kind of a paid vacation for me. Sean Wen, catering and crafty, like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, like catering and crafty. Well, everything needs to be individually back now, right? It can't just be a tray of meat and cheese. It can just be, now it's got to have little packets of like beef jerkies. So I do think, there's some challenging times for certain departments. Like we kind of need to reinvent the wheels a little bit. Like you mentioned, craft services, catering.
Yeah.
How are we going to do this? Are we doing is everything just going to be a drop-off style? No, it's everybody's going to have their own packed lunch. And then, to everybody's point, like now we're thinking about staggering everybody's call time. So now everybody's going to eat at a different time. You got to feed your crew every 6 hours, right? So, yeah. So we'll have a lot to figure it out. I think, it's going to be hard for the first couple of shoots, because we're all going to be very safe, very cordial, going to follow all the right rules, and, it's just common sense, really.
Yeah. Okay. So just a round robin, we'll start with Sylvetta. Just right off the top of your head, first thing, what change do you think will be the biggest change that you see the next time you step on set?
The biggest change I think we'll see the number of people moving around on set. I think that'll be the biggest change that we'll see.
Absolutely. Kirsten?
Probably the amount of time actually shooting, because I think you're going to have to really cushion the amount of time wiping things down, loading in, staggering. So.
Yeah, and Sean Wen?
I don't see any overtime being paid for this, so.
Right. Yeah, no, that's very, very interesting. And Sean, what do you think, like, the biggest change you'll see next time you step on set?
I think just not being able to give hugs and handshakes when you see people that you work with for the past couple of years, and then now there's like a 3 months of not seeing some of your closest friends. And I think that's going to be a big thing, a big difference. And also, client agency.
Right.
Would they be on set?
Right.
Or are we gonna Skype, or will we Zoom? And then it's, like everybody mentioned as well, it's a whole trickle down effect on scheduling, overtime, because now we gotta wait for feedbacks.
Right. Right. And as we saw today,
yeah.
and we practiced, we had a tech scout and we were all on this, and I was changing the cameras. Everything was working perfectly. Come showtime, it took us a good 10, 15 minutes, and 10, 15, let's say 20 minutes of overtime for an entire crew of 45 people at time and a half. Sean, why don't you figure that out for me and go ahead and text it to me in a little bit? No, you know what? Give me 20 minutes, give me 40 minutes, and then let me know if we go 55 minutes. And how much is that in meal penalties as well? All right. Thank the three of you very much for your patience and hanging in there. It's very interesting times. I'm hoping that we'll all get back very safely to a lot of work. And, we'll stay in touch.
Well, thanks, Scott. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, guys.
All right.
See you all.
All right. Ciao, ciao. We'll talk soon.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you.
Bye-bye.
Wash hands, everybody. Wash hands.
That's right.
Wash your hands.
Done.
Thank you, guys.
Don't get confused. It's not making it rain. It's washing your hands.
Thank you, Sean.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Good people, pros, everybody, all three of them, in charge and responsible for a lot of people on set, a lot of safety, a lot of concerns. We've all been reading a lot of material, and there is a lot of good stuff out there. You wouldn't know it from watching the news and listening to our leaders at times, but there is a lot of good thinking, and there is a lot of good advice out there for how to get back to work safely. And I think, as you heard from all three, it's not a question of if we can get back to work safely. It's just a question of allowing enough time for people in order to react to these changes and then move forward slowly but surely. And we all know the three things: get that mask on, maintain the social distance, and multiple hand washings. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this evening. Now, our next show, okay, because there was a lot of concern. We've been skipping Thursdays. There was a lot of concern. I'll post it again on Facebook, but our next show is going to be Tuesday, July 21st, and at 8 p.m. EST right here. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. Hug, hunker, and haven. And also remember, mask, maintain, and multiple hand washings. Be safe, and we'll see you next Tuesday.